All right, episode 6. I watched a lot tonight. I'm actually going to probably go watch 7, hopefully. Get that done tonight as well. I love to burn through these. They're fun. It's been so fun to go back. So anyways, let's stick on this. So they get called in to look at these bodies because this girl gets attacked in the opening, and these guys' bodies are found by these kids who were trying to go and squat in some apartment, high-rise apartment or something, and they're called in, and they won't tell them anything. Everything's very hush hush. They find out that the bodies have been dead for 6 hours, which I think is kind of ridiculous because she killed them. Then those kids found the bodies who knows how long later. Then the cops would have had to come in. Then they would have had to find something was wrong. Then they would have had to fly him 60 minutes. Then they would have had to call Fox and Dana to come over when they realized how weird it was. And then they would have had to arrive all in 6 hours. That's pretty fast. That's pretty fast from a 60-minute flight all the way across. I don't know, that seems all ridiculous. But we're talking about a show with fucking ghosts and all sorts of things. So I think anything's within believability. Also, the esophagus or larynx is crushed from the inside with no bruising, particular, anything going on the outside, just all internal damage, which is pretty much impossible. I guess you could maybe shove something down the throat. Don't go there, guys. I already did. And have something that's a really pressurized vacuum sucker kind of thing. I'm holding a thing in front of my mouth right now and talking about suckers. Jesus Christ. But you could, I guess you could shove it down the throat and but it would show there was some kind of markings inside the trachea or any of those kinds of things like you see on the back of the throat. But if you did it and you slipped it in there again and you sucked it, maybe it would crush from the inside. I don't know, maybe. It'd have to be big enough, maybe it wouldn't collapse enough. But just thinking of how that could possibly work, but no, I don't think it's possible. So that right there. And then the fact that the bodies are still at 98.3 degrees 6 hours after death. These guys must have had one hell of a fever to be still pumping 98. They should be in the 70s by then. I've watched a lot of CSI. And killed a lot of people, clearly. And then Mulder lies to these guys, says that he knows nothing about murders and cases like this, and he actually sneaks some fingerprints, which he puts onto his glasses, which I thought was pretty damn sly. That was really fun. And then psychokinesis is brought up, and this is when Scully references Carrie. But then later in the movie, he talks about poltergeists, and she says they're here. So we get a poltergeist reference as well. So 2 horror movies referenced in this episode. So anyone who calls this show not horror is full of shit. Not just because they reference horror, but a lot of the themes. Come on, guys, this is a horror show. It's a sci-fi horror detective show. But definitely horror. Not every single episode, but a majority of them are. I don't know if anyone's arguing that or not, but I've seen it said before where I'm like, no, this is definitely got horror in it. A lot of it. So this chick is basically just being watched over by a ghost who is protecting her, kind of like Patrick Swayze in Ghost, or in Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, when people are coming after, Hector? Can't remember what the kid's name is. Maybe that's it. But every time he tries to hit him, they just swat him away and beat him up or kill him or whatever. So kind of reminiscent of that, but this predates that. And which this isn't the only movie by any means, but this is just a couple off the top of my head. But yeah, anybody who fucks with this girl, shit goes down. Her boss tries to come on to her, which we find out later that this dude who was killed, who ended up being murdered, we find out that he knew obviously what was going on, but they knew that she knew as well. And when she tries to quit, he more tries to sexually seduce her, which I was just kind of really? This is the angle you're gonna go with this in this moment? And the entity, the poltergeist or whatever, is not having that shit. So she's got a hardcore protector here. He's got unfinished business. I like how in the ATM footage that they show her, there's like the blurriest picture of a man you've ever seen. She's like, do you recognize this man? Do you know this man? She's like, she doesn't make any reference to like, there's no way anyone could know who that is. It's just a completely blur. She's just like, no, I have no idea who that is. And they're like, you want to make sure, you want to look again? It's like, look at what? A fucking a fly that hit the screen and then someone like smudged it with their finger. That's what it looked like. It wasn't anything. Like before when they showed it, it actually showed like a body and a shape and a this and that. But like when they showed her the picture, whatever freeze frame they got, they should have went back and got a better freeze frame of that thing, because it was like they could have went back a couple frames, because whatever they showed her, we see it and it is just blur. It is nothing there. And I thought that was really stupid. So then they leave, they get in their car, and the car takes off in reverse, almost killing them. They go and they hit this car on the bottom. They're just like, what the hell just happened? But Mulder is on, and when he goes to investigate the car, he realizes that the energy that's been pumped through the light bulbs in the front of the car, the headlights, are still illuminating when the car is not even on, running anything. And the bodies from earlier were 98.3 degrees, and their bodies couldn't stop moving. They had an electrical charge running through them, but nothing to suggest that they were electrified or anything. Man, we got one creepy ass graveyard worker in this episode. They don't really make any reference to that at all. He comes up and he's like, I mean, he's just kind of a lonely guy, so I don't want to like knock the dude. And he does help them out, but he just comes up and he's like, I've been to every funeral and I know every damn person that's ever been here. Just the way he's talking, he's just so sad and lonely. And here I am making fun of the guy like an asshole. Okay, never mind. He's fine. I'm a dick. Then they're throwing her like some big going away party at her office. Like, really? Just for one chick? Like, it's a big party. Like, everyone's partying like this. Man, if I saw that, I'd be like, you happy I'm leaving? Or are you want like, Jesus, I didn't think they did that at those kind of corporate places like that. And that dude didn't even want her to leave. But and then of course, yet again, Scully misses everything. She misses the levitating body when Mulder walks in, which I would have been rubbing that shit in her face, but she's not going to listen anyway, so I guess it didn't even matter. But he saw that, and that would be proof enough for me. I'd be like, okay, I believe. Like, I believe in poltergeists, I believe in everything, even if I wasn't. So of course, as usual, she misses it. She's like 1 second late to seeing things, which gets very annoying. I have a cold, by the way. I'm trying to fucking get past it right now. I have such a big day at work tomorrow. I cannot be sick. Fuck, man. I'm trying to ignore this right now. Just anyway, let's stay on track. So Mulder comes in and he talks to her when she's in the interrogation. The guys like kind of grill her for a while, the other dickheads. And then Mulder and Scully come in. He's like, you know what, I'll just leave you alone. And then he makes a reference of like poltergeist and all this stuff, and she's like, all right, fine, I'll open up. And she tells him that they've been selling this stuff to terrorists, and that's what these guys are involved with, and all this blah blah blah. So they go in and raid the place, and the dude tries the boss tries to attack this chick, and Mulder's in the room, and the whole room like explodes in papers, picks this guy up and throws him across the room, and then the letter opener's like spinning around in the air, and then it's like going at the guy, it turns around and goes zooms and cuts down a wall. Scully's nowhere to be found as usual, which reveals a disc which has all the information on it. Yeah, what a hiding spot. How did they not find that? And Scully comes in. She sees everything everywhere. She sees how everything is left, the knife and all that stuff. And she's just like, nah, I still don't believe. It's like, man, Scully, you are dedicated to not believing, because you've already seen enough in this show to definitely change your view. But she always sticks with him, so she's got to believe to an extent. And then we see this chick at the end, and she's working for this other job where this chick's being a total bitch to her, and she thinks that that dude is still coming after her, but it's a truck driving by, and then she's all happy, and it's like, yes, like I moved away and now I have a shitty job and I'm so happy. Like, I thought that was really funny. It looked like her job sucked, and she's sitting there like, yes, like I'm free. And it's like, you're free of what? This dude was just protecting you. Everybody that this poltergeist hurt was trying to kill you. And you're like, no, don't hurt him, don't kill. Fuck that. I can't stand that shit. This person's trying to murder you and someone protects you, and then you're like, oh my God, like I would never want that guy to leave. I'd be so bummed if someone was protecting me like that, and then all of a sudden he disappeared. I'd be like, no, come back. I need you, man. All right, there we go. 4 episodes in a row, 1 sitting. Jesus Christ. All right, off to watch episode 7 because I'm a fucking maniac.